We are here to play God of War, the board game today. We are going to be playing it on TTS, but we are going to be playing it. A lot of you out there who've been clamoring for some actual gameplay of the game, you're going to get it. Simon came to us, and we were lucky enough for them to ask us to put some gameplay together for you, which we did on TTS. So Ryan and I are going to go right over there to show you all the new mechanisms of the game. This is an all-new sort of game. This is not based on Zombicide or any other existing game. So there's a few things to go through, but we're going to get right to it and show you what the game has in store.
Yeah, we're going to jump right in. I'm playing Atreus. David's playing Kratos.
Because of the beard.
This is a two-player game. It's built on that idea of teamwork. So we're going to see how well David and I do working together to defeat the scenario that they gave us.
Even better than we work together here at the table. All right, we are here in TTS. We've got the game set up in front of us so you can see kind of where all the components are. You've got Kratos on the right, Atreus on the left, some of the other boards, and we'll get to that. Plus, we've got these beautiful miniatures down here on the board. They'd had standees in here, but they've updated the mod so that we could see these miniatures here. As you can see in all their glory in 3D, they're looking pretty slick. But Atreus and Kratos start right here in the middle, and we've got some enemies here in setup. Again, the enemies and the boss, everything is modular in this. So you're just going to mash some of those things together along with a scenario and get going. You will always be playing as Kratos and Atreus, whether it's single player or two player. I'm going to be playing as Kratos today. Here's his hero board. You're going to see his Spartan Rage track. You're going to see his attack cards down here, which I'm going to activate with bonus cards, as well as some of these spaces up here, which are going to be activated by those same bonus cards, but that is to help Atreus. So it's going to let Atreus get some rage or some health and so on. And of course, both of us are going to have some skill tree tiles that we can get with some abilities as we earn them throughout the game.
And I, Ryan, am playing Atreus, and you'll notice the player boards do look very similar, but the attack cards are different. For example, Atreus has more range, which is this number that you see here, and instead of the rage track, I have a summon track. When it reaches the end, I can actually summon some kind of animal helper. And we're going to be playing these two characters in synchronization. Again, I have those same team-up abilities as well that I can help David increase his character board at the same time.
And then there's the enemies. Like we said, you're going to pick a couple monsters and one boss. These are the ones we've chosen for this tutorial scenario, which is basically what they recommend. And then the menace track. The way the menace track works is at the beginning of every enemy phase, you're going to move that up one. This acts as effectively a timer for the game. You have to accomplish your goals before the end of that timer, or a few other things. It's also going to trigger some things. You also see the monster information as well as the boss information. These are all going to be triggered by these rune and behavior cards. We'll wait to play and show you how those work, but you're going to flip one rune and one behavior card to determine how these monsters are going to operate out here on the main board as we play the game.
The synergy track is the last thing we want to talk about, and this is another component that sits on the side of the board and has a tracker. This tracker is going to go up throughout the game, and it's going to give you a series of different rewards that benefit different players. Of course, this is the synergy track for scenario 1, and your goal is to get this synergy track as high as possible. But the only way to move this synergy track is by working together. If both players work together to defeat enemies, that's when you actually get to move up this track.
And this is the scenario according to the tutorial setup. We've got these 3 chests in the extreme corners of the board. We need to open all 3 of those. When we do that, it's going to spawn the boss. Now, the boss also may spawn if we wait too long and the menace track gets far enough. But the objective is to open all 3 of those chests and defeat the boss. And we're going to start with Atreus. We have to start with one character for one round, and then the next round we can choose a different character if we want to, but you can choose that at the beginning of each round.
All right, so we already drew our starting hand, 3 of these bonus cards, and I drew 2 blue and 1 red, which means I could have access to either of these 2 attacks, or I could use either one of these 2 synergy abilities here, but I'm actually going to use this card for its other benefit. If you look at the bottom, you can use a card to move, interact, or block. I think I want to discard this blue card here into the discard pile to use this move to ability. Atreus starts right here, and I want to get a little closer to these guys, and I'm going to have to do that by moving 2 spaces. So I can move across this dotted line on the bridge, and then this dotted line to end up here.
All right, I think I ultimately want to head in another direction, but before I do that while I'm in range, I'm going to actually use the axe toss with this blue card, playing it right there, and doing 1 damage within 2 range. So if we go over here, you can see I could do 1, 2 range to reach this guy right here. So I'm going to do 1 damage to him. And put one of Kratos' damage markers right there next to him to signify that I've done some damage to him.
And back to Atreus, and I'm actually not going to use any of my attacks again. The reason being is that Atreus has a special ability to interact with these little exploding vases. As long as you're within 2 spaces, which I am, I can discard a card for the interact version of the action, which I will do right now to interact with this exploding vase. It will blow up, so I'll just set that aside. And it's going to do 1 damage to each of these guys. So I'll place those damage tokens near them. And now you notice that this guy actually has a white and a black. That means we've both done damage to him, so we will get a synergy reward.
And just to point out here, that Hellwalker that we each have a damage on, they have 4 health, so we just need to do 2 more health. Now, it doesn't have to be even damage. Ryan could do the rest of the damage. We'll still get that synergy bonus. And as you can see here, the Nightmare also have 4 health. We don't have to worry about this guy yet, but he's going to have 35 when he comes in. And it is back to me, and I'm actually not going to use one of these to do an attack because I have to be in basically the same zone as an enemy. So I am going to discard it as well right here for a move. And as you can see here, it's going to allow me to move 2. I'll move 1, 2 into this space. This is a separate space than this one where the enemy is.
Okay, back to me, and I've got 1 card left here, which means I've got 1 action left before it is the enemy's turn, and I'm actually going to use this now to do my attack. I am not going to try to pronounce this one, but it is a range of 2, and then also it deals 1 damage to another target in range. So within range 2, I can deal a damage to this guy, so we'll add a 3rd damage to his little pile, and then this enemy here is still 2 away. You'll count 1 across here and 1 over here, so I can actually do a damage to this one as well. So it hasn't killed either one of them, but they're both pretty weak.
So I could go again and use this red card. Again, there's no enemies in my space, so I'd only be using it to move. But I'm actually going to pass 2 because you can see you can also block with this if you have a card in hand. So I'm going to keep it in hand and hopefully block if an enemy attacks me. But now it is the enemy's turn. Every enemy phase is going to start the same way. You're going to move the menace track up 1. That might trigger some things later in the game, but it's not going to right now. And then you're going to activate twice a rune card and a behavior card. The rune card is going to basically interact with this Hellwalker to let us know what's going to happen. In this case, we're going to spawn a Hellwalker at the blue spot and then activate all Hellwalkers. So you can see down here on the Hellwalker card, he has to be within a range of 0 and he's going to hit for 1. But all monsters are going to, when they activate, move 1 space as well. So we're first going to spawn a Hellwalker in this space with this blue symbol. Then we can activate them all. Like I said, this one's going to move 1, so we're going to have him move this way towards Atreus. This one is also going to move 1. He will move this way or this way. We're going to have him move this way as well. And we'll just remember that this damage is associated with this Hellwalker. Next up, we have these 2 Hellwalkers. This one is just going to simply move this way towards Kratos, but still out of range. But this one is actually going to move into Kratos' space with him and attack. So I would just normally take the 1 damage. I have 8 health here, and I would put a damage on my player board right here. But like I said, I'm actually going to use this card right here to block and just add that to the discard pile to avoid that damage.
Now with that out of the way, we're going to do it again. We've got another rune here and another behavior card. This time the nightmares are going to activate. We're going to spawn a nightmare on yellow and then activate. And if a monster that isn't present on the board is drawn, well, they are present. We haven't defeated them yet. So we're just going to spawn and activate again. And again, like David said, each of the monsters only moves 1 space, but the nightmare can attack from 2, so it will not move if it's already within that 2 space range, but it is only going to do 1 damage. So this spawn here, this is not looking good for Kratos because this nightmare will move 1 space closer to him, and it is within range 2. And then we have this nightmare over here who is already within range 2. He doesn't even need to move. Both of these nightmares are going to do damage to Kratos.
Yeah, and since I used my last card, I have no way to block, so I will just take the 2 damage and put it on my player board.
And then this nightmare is going to activate against Atreus. And again, it's 2 spaces away right now. It doesn't have to move at all to do its damage. And just like Dad, I'm taking damage as well. I have no block. I only have 5 health though, so this is a little more dangerous for me.
Be better.
So that's the round. At the beginning of the next round, we're each going to draw 3 cards into our hand. Oh, I drew a red and 2 yellows, and then I will take my turn first again. So that red card I drew is going to immediately be used to do an attack here. And again, this is at range 2, and I'm going to be doing 1 damage. And I'm going to do that damage to this Hellwalker here, giving it a total of 4 damage. If you remember, that was its health value. So this Hellwalker is defeated. And this means I get to do my favorite thing, which is roll the reward die, which is this black die. But we actually get to roll this synergy die as well, because both David and I did damage. So we're actually going to get to roll both dice. And we always resolve this die first, which is to gain a rage. And then we look at this die and gain this one as well, which is 1 movement on the synergy track and 1 health back. So I'll move the synergy while I'm here already. And then I get 1 rage, and I get to remove 1 damage. Now I took these abilities because I was the one to do the finishing blow.
I was hoping I could have a red card to really do a good attack against this guy, plus get some rage, but I drew 2 yellow and a blue. But I am going to be a little risky here, and I'm going to play 2 yellows. So when you activate, you can actually take any one of these actions and use as many cards as you have to activate it for more damage. So I'm going to do the dash and bash, which is going to be a little risky. It requires me to move 1 space before I do the damage, so I'm going to move into this space with this guy. But when I do that, I am going to take a damage from leaving this space with this guy. So I'll put that damage right here on my board. This is not great. I have 3 of my 8, so I am going to need to heal sometime, or maybe ask Atreus to heal me. But like I said, that dash and bash is going to let me do 2 damage to this Hellwalker. So I've got 2 damage on him. He just needs 2 damage from Atreus.
Yeah, but I'm not in range, so I have a different plan, and that is to use my yellow card. And no, I'm not going to use it to attack. I'm actually going to use it right here to give you a bonus card. Since you played 2 cards, this could help replenish your hand, and it's going to give you something else, maybe one of those red cards you needed.
Thank you very much. I will draw a card. We just reshuffled the bonus card pile. Let's see what I get. I get another blue. So with the blue, I might do something interesting here. Yeah, I could do the axe toss, and I'm going to do it at a power of 2. Now this is from a range, so I'm going to actually do it to this guy here so that we can leave this guy for Atreus to do a little.
I want to come over there and get the synergy bonus. It helps to get those synergy bonuses for sure.
So that'll let me do 2 damage to this guy right here.
And I'm still not in any range to actually do that synergy attack. So I'm actually going to move. I'm going to use this to move 2 spaces. I'm going to pop up 1, 2. I know we're both kind of on the same side of the board. I completely ignored that chest, but I really want to get these synergy bonuses first.
Yeah, and because I used multiple cards on my turns, that round for us went a little bit faster. So we're back to the monster phase. We're going to move the menace track up 1 and then activate a couple more. Pick a rune card and a behavior card. It's the Hellwalkers activating like this, so we'll take a look at that card. Activate them all, and then all heroes damaged by this activation also suffer stun.
Oh boy, that's going to be bad.
So we'll start down here with this Hellwalker. He's just going to move a little closer to Atreus. And then these 2 Hellwalkers, unfortunately, are going to do a little bit more than that. We'll start with the one in my space. He's simply going to do 1 damage to me. And this one is going to move 1 space.
It's getting kind of crowded in that
It is getting
space.
a little crowded. We're going to just act like he's in there with us. And do another damage to me. So I'm getting a total of 2 damage, and because I took 2 damage, I'll also be stunned. So I'll put the 2 damage on my player board. I'm at 5 of my 8, so I do need some healing if at all possible. And then to signify that I'm stunned, I'm simply going to flip my character upside down on the board.
So that went poorly. Let's see if this second one goes a little bit better. So we're going to activate the green on the scenario card. So this is a special card that was shuffled into the behavior deck, and it's going to tell us there is a frost blessing. we are going to activate the monster in the A slot. And remember, this was random, but it's the Hellwalkers again. Things are looking very bad, a little frosty for Kratos. So these two, they don't care that Kratos is stunned. They're going to just stay where they are and do their damage again. So that's 2 more damage to Kratos. And then this Hellwalker is just going to keep moving a little bit closer to Atreus. They are closing in on us, which is a little rough.
Yeah, so this is not great. I now have 7 of my health. So we're pushing it to the limit here. I definitely need some healing in this next round.
So then I'm going to draw my new hand for the round. 2 blues and a red. That's good news for you, David, because this blue actually can be used. Let's just start off, get this out of the way, and heal you for 2.
Thank you very much. I will remove those 2. I'm still not in the greatest of shape.
I know, you need that
I'm still
HP
at
upgrade.
5. I definitely need to get some more health. So I have 2 reds and a yellow, but it doesn't really matter. I can discard any of these to get unstunned. So I'm going to discard the yellow one to do that.
All right, so I'm going to do this blue ability here, the one that says deal 1 damage to another target. And since I did move last turn, I'm actually in range of pretty much everything. So I'm going to look at these 2 guys over here. They're both within 2 spaces of me. So I can deal 1 damage to one and then 1 damage to the other. So I will grab my little damage over here and just add it to their piles. They're both 1 health away. And that ensures that we'll get to roll that synergy dice now when either of these die.
With my 2 red cards, I'm not going to use both of them. I'm just going to use one of them because we don't need the extra damage to do 1 damage to one of the Hellwalkers in my space. So I'll add that damage right here. That's the 4 needed to get rid of this guy. Plus, for doing the Furious Blow, I also get 1 rage, so I'll add that to my Spartan Rage track. And then finally, because we defeated it and both did damage, we're going to roll both the reward die and the synergy die. And get 1 synergy and 2 more rage. I'm going to put the synergy up while I'm here, and that's going to give us some things. But first, I'm going to add those 2 rage to my track. Hopefully we can get here while we're still playing on camera. And thankfully, the synergy track did get high enough to get us one of these bonuses. We're going to add a new bonus card to our hero deck, and these bonus cards are a little better than the ones that you've seen us playing so far. But more importantly, we get this ability cube that we can add to one of our player boards. I'm going to add it to mine, and I'll show you where I'm going to play it. I am definitely going to play this right here to upgrade my health. So now I have 10. So now I only have 5 damage to my 10 health. And right up here above the synergy track, we have the bonus card. So I'm going to take one of those, and we get to take a look at it. So this one you can see can be used as a red or a blue card, and it's discard to move 3 or block 2. The other cool thing about these is they go right on top of our draw deck.
And then with my last red card, I'm going to attack. Maybe I'll actually get a card draw here for defeating this guy. We'll see. I want that better card, but this is going to let me attack within range of 2. Luckily for me, this guy is within range 2, because remember, he is technically in this space with Kratos. So that is the 4th damage on him, so he is defeated as well. So I get to roll these reward dice again here for that synergy. Oh boy. So I get 1 more rage, another heal, and 1 more synergy bonus. Unfortunately, this is nothing special, but it does move us a little farther. But I will take the healing and the rage. Although I haven't actually taken any more damage, but the rage will be useful. I wish I could give you that healing, but unfortunately not.
Yeah, I don't have any enemies here, and the whole object is to open these chests, so I'm going to just move up towards this chest. I'm going to discard this card to do so. So we'll end up moving 2, and I'll discard that card right here. But we'll have to do another enemy phase first, so we'll move the menace track up. We're getting close to some things activating, and we'll activate 2 of these cards. First is B, followed by a nightmare. So we're going to be looking at this row of the nightmare. It's going to activate, then activate the closest non-nightmare monster in the tile with the nightmare. So this first nightmare is simply just going to move 1 space towards Atreus, and both of these nightmares will also move 1 space towards Kratos.
And there were no non-nightmare monsters, so we're actually okay there, but I'm afraid this is going to spawn more Hellwalkers. But let's see what happens here. It's a red one. If a monster that isn't present on the board is drawn, spawn it on a yellow. So we have another scenario 1 card that was shuffled in. This one says advance the menace track. So we're going to have to advance the menace track and activate monster A. And we're also going to have a harsh winter where all heroes are going to take 1 damage. So we're activating monster A, which is the Hellwalker. And there is only 1 on the board. So he is going to move here, and then he is going to attack Atreus. So Atreus is taking 2 damage, and Kratos is taking 1 from that harsh winter. All right, there's 2 on me, but I'm still looking. I'm okay. I have 3 health left, actually.
And there's 1 from the harsh winter on me. So
you're doing a little better?
I'm at 6 of 10, so I
a
still
little
got
better.
4
health
life left. Yeah, so we'll need to draw up our
Wait,
cards.
hold on. I'm gonna grab the mouse out of your hands. Don't forget, we actually had that upgraded bonus card on the top.
That's right.
So this time, drawing actually matters. Who wants to get that better card? Are we gonna have to do rock, paper, scissors off camera? I'm actually okay with you having it. I think you are gonna be up there with the chest. That thing gave you 3 potential movement. So I think you might actually need that. So you should take the first turn this round.
I'll take it. I don't think I'm going to actually use that card to do anything particularly special here because I think we want to open this chest. So I'm going to just discard this red card for the movement to move into this position right here.
I'm actually okay with you having that because you're going to need that 3 movement to get back to me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to use this one here, Pruma. This lets me move after the attack while ignoring retaliation. And I have actually 2 yellow, so I can do 2 damage to this guy. So there's 2 damage on him, and I get to move away. Now, normally we said if you move away, they're going to deal damage to you. But since I can ignore that retaliation, I can slip away. Maybe I don't want to go there. Maybe I want to come... Ooh, then I'm in range of the Nightmare. I'm in trouble no matter where I go. I've got this guy coming, I got the Nightmare, and I've got that spawn point right on me. But this seems like the safest path maybe to run this way.
And like I said, I am just going to discard this card here to interact with that chest. We'll go up and take a look at what's in that chest. The first of 3 is... Oh, nice. So I get 3 rage. So Kratos is actually going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh,
you're in the danger zone.
We are getting there. We are getting there. So that is 1 of the 3 chests that we need in order to spawn the boss and then defeat the boss. We're actually going to play more of the game off camera and then come back to give you a little look at what the boss is like and then tell you about the whole experience. And while it's just been a moment for you, it's been a few rounds for us, and we have just flipped the last chest tile, which, drumroll please, spawned the boss. So we've got the boss out on the board. Here's the situation. We've got a few guys. What our strategy was to speed things up, try to get to that chest because we were afraid we were going to spend all of our time just fighting monsters.
Yeah, and we didn't do a lot of... We killed a few on our way, but we kind of ignored some of these, which is going to be a little rough, especially this guy's closing in on you over here too.
Yeah. We've got a few things going on for us, though. We've got my rage track, which is full, which I didn't want to spend while the boss wasn't on the board.
Yeah.
This might help us now. It's not exactly great for the boss specifically, but I'll probably use that. I've got extra hand size.
We got some synergy bonuses. I think part of the reason that we maybe struggled, we might have been able to do better, and we might have been able to kill more of these guys, but we tried to make sure that we hit every synergy bonus we almost could. We didn't really want to finish somebody off until our teammate got to do some damage. So we're about halfway up that synergy track right now.
And when the boss spawns, we remove 1 of each of the monsters and replace those in the behavior deck with 2 cards for the boss. Now, the boss, when he activates, is going to do some very specific things. There's some special rules here. It says when using him, represent fire tokens with these tokens right here. When a hero enters a zone with a fire token, we're going to take 1 damage. And of course, he's going to be dropping those fire tokens depending on some of the things he does on his card.
But he doesn't activate right away, so turn still passes to me like normal, and I'm going to play my blue card here to do this one that I love so much, to deal damage to 2 different targets. One of which is, of course, going to be the boss, and the other one's going to be this Hellwalker here. We're going to do things a little differently. I'll add the health here for the Hellwalker, but the boss, I'm going to keep it on his card, because if you're not seeing this, the boss has 35 health, and I don't want to stack 35 tokens on this boss's base, so that's 1 damage out of 35.
I'm actually in a unique and creative way to use my axe toss because this guy is 2 zones away, but my son, Atreus, needs help. So instead of playing the blue card here to heal me, I'm going to play it up here.
To heal me? For what?
To heal you for 2.
All right, I need that. So I'm going to heal 2 off of myself. And I do have 1 card left here, but I think I'm actually going to save it to block because if you can see here, I'm in a pretty precarious situation. Even with that healing, I think I'm still going to need to block one of these attacks.
I don't really need to hold on to my card to block right now, but I don't want to exactly move right into a space to get hit. So I'm going to actually discard this card for the move and move 1, 2 up here, just so I can get up closer to the boss. I want to fire this rage off and make the most of it. So the first thing we do is move the menace track up. We're in a very bad position now because now starting with the next round, we draw an additional activation card. So we'll draw 3 from up here. But luckily, we only draw 2 now. So let's start with the rune. It is red. And the behavior is the boss? No.
Nope, scenario card.
Scenario 1. So red is going to be...
Oh, another harsh
winner. All heroes... You know what? That's not horrible.
No, it's a good thing you healed me, though.
This happens too. Advance 1 on the menace track. So, not so great. Because when we do get to here, the boss would have spawned as well, but also when you get past here, the boss does extra bad things.
Yeah.
The enraged effect.
Yeah, that's rough.
So I'll take that 1 damage from the harsh winter.
And I will as well, putting me at 3 damage out of my possible 5. All right, now for the second activation, we have the green rune. If the monster isn't present, we would spawn it. And
there he
that's
is.
The boss.
All right, let's see here. He's doing his smash.
Smash. Move 2 zones towards Atreus, add 1 fire token, and deal 2 damage to all heroes in that zone. So he's going to move 2 spaces towards me. So if he moves 1, 2 to this space, which is where I want him to be, he'd be 2 away from me. If he comes over here, this is closer.
Yeah,
he's only 1 space.
That's his route.
This is kind of a small space for this giant troll. So I'm going to put his fire token. He leaves a fire token. I'll put that down first and then move him. So just remember that he is in this space. There we go. And he does 2 damage to every hero in that space, which luckily is not me. So I guess I didn't need to hold on to that defense card, but oh well, you never know.
All right, even though Atreus is in trouble,
Yep.
I'm going to go first to see if I can get over there so I can unleash this rage. I've got these cards right here, so I'm actually just going to use one of those to move. I'm going to use the yellow one, discard it to move 2. I'm going to go 1, 2 to join you on the bridge, our starting positions.
Hey, that's true. All right, and I kept my 1 red card. I drew a yellow and a blue. So let's go ahead and do this one that lets me move. I think this is going to be really useful. So I can do 1 damage and then move. And I'm actually going to choose to do the damage to this Hellwalker because if you're doing what I think you're doing, which is going to be using your rage, you can split your damage up and he only needs 1 more to be defeated. All right, my 1 move, let's move Kratos a little bit so that I can get behind him and hide behind Dad because that's where I feel more safe.
And with Atreus safely behind me, it is time to unleash the Spartan Rage. I'm going to move this all the way back down, but I get to do all of these. I move up to 2, enemies follow, deal 5 damage divided as I see fit, and I heal 2.
Oh, that healing is nice.
So I'm going to go ahead and just do the healing too while I'm here.
Yep.
Even though that looks like to be a little out of order. Did I grab 2 there? Oh. And there's not a lot of room here, but I'm going to move 2, 1, 2. You get the idea. I'm in that space with both of these guys. Now I can deal 5 damage as I see fit. I'm going to deal 1 of the damage to this guy just to get him out of the way. And then 4 damage to the boss. So I will add the 4 of my damage to the boss. He's now down to 30. We've got a ways to go yet.
And don't forget that you did move into one of his fire zones, so you're going to take a damage as well for moving into that.
Yep, I will take 1 more damage for running into fire. That's what happens. But finally, because we defeated this guy here and both of us had done damage, we're going to roll both of these die.
Yay, my favorite part, getting rewards.
We're going to go up on the synergy track, which is going to get us some things.
Yeah.
1 rage and 1 heal, so I'll do that really quick. Get a little rage back.
There you go. Heal
Get a
yourself.
little healing back. And then we've got to decide, okay, we've got 1 more card coming. Wow. Let's take a look at that card.
Oh, it's not attackable. Instead of attacking, you may discard to gain 2 rage and draw another card to replace it. That's pretty good.
And the other 2 rewards, I think it's time for Atreus to get some.
Yeah, I definitely want that upgrade cube. First of all, one of them has to be used on the hand size to give me a hand size of 4. And I'm half tempted to use this to give myself more health, but I like this +1 range. It might allow me to stay farther away and still do my damage while protected. Okay, and with that out of the way, it's actually my turn. I'm going to do my trusty double hit here, and now I'm doing that at a range of 3, which is nice. Let's do 1 to this Hellwalker because he is within range, and then of course I do feel like I need to add 1 to the boss as well, just because that is going to be a slow fight to take down all that health. So that's my 2 damage.
All right, I'm going to go for broke here. I thought I might hold on to this 1 card for the block ability, but I'm going to play both of them right here. As 2 reds. Now I will only get this rage once, but I'll take it. And this is going to be doing 2 damage in on the boss. So I'll go ahead and do the 2 damage here.
All right, my last action here might be a little boring, but I am just going to do 1 more attack with this Nista, which lets me move the targeted enemy 1 space. So I will do, let's just do 1 more damage over here to this Hellwalker, and I can push him 1 more space. So let's just push him away. In case he does activate, he won't be able to reach me this round.
So we're back to another enemy phase. I think this is going to be our last one before we finish the game off camera, but be assured we'll be back to tell you about the whole thing. The menace track moves up 1, but remember, it's past this 8th level, so we're going to be doing 3 of these. The first one is a red glyph and scenario 1, so that is going to be
another harsh one.
Another harsh winter.
I think that's been harsh winter every single time.
It has been a lot. So Atreus is going to take a damage.
And I'm almost dead.
And Kratos is not quite as near death, but he's getting there.
All right, the next one is the yellow rune, and that's going to go on the nightmare. Okay, spawn a nightmare and then activate the nightmares. All right, so we're going to spawn 1 more nightmare here in yellow, and then it's going to activate. And these are going to activate. Unfortunately for Kratos, all 3 of these are only 2 spaces away from you.
Yeah.
Hiding out back there. I'm 3 spaces away. It's a good thing I moved. I would be dead, actually. But that means you're taking the brunt of the damage here.
Yep, so I'll take 3 more. I'm actually going to go to a 5 and get rid of 2. It's not always a good feeling when you're doing that on your own health.
You have 8 damage.
8 damage of 10.
Oof, it's a good thing you got that upgrade, though.
I have 2 life. Yeah, I'd be dead otherwise. All right, this could actually be the very end of the game.
This could be the end of Kratos, that's for sure.
We're going to flip the rune. It is a blue rune, and...
This could be the end.
Take a look here. Blue.
Fire Nova.
Place 1 fire token in each adjacent zone. Each hero in a zone with fire takes 1 damage per fire token in that zone. All right, so we're going to get the rest of these fire tokens out. One's going to go here because remember, he's in this zone right here. One will go here on the bridge.
Man, I am so glad I moved. I would be dead if I didn't move that 1 space away.
Starting some fires for sure. Oh, you would be.
Yeah, I would be.
And then this one's going to go in here as well.
And then all heroes take 1 damage, so that's you.
All heroes in a space with a fire token,
myself.
which I still am. So I do take a damage.
What are you at, 9?
I'm at 9
Oh
of 10.
my gosh.
I don't know that we're going to be able to survive this.
Let's take stock. You're at 9 out of 10, and I'm at what, 4 out of 5? Oh, no, yeah, 4 out of 5. Because I didn't take my health upgrade.
I'm 9 out of 10.
All right. I don't love our chances, but we are going to finish the game out. We're going to do our best to defeat the boss, and then we'll tell you how it goes.
Yeah, we didn't mean to leave you on this cliffhanger, but we're leaving you on a cliffhanger. But like Ryan said, we'll be right back and tell you about how things shook out. Sorry for leaving you on that cliffhanger, but you didn't have much longer to watch because we did not succeed in the scenario.
We didn't. We did not kill the boss. We did put up a valiant last stand because shortly after we stopped filming, we turned off the cameras and everything. we did some math, and it just became very apparent that like we couldn't brute force this guy.
Yeah.
We were going to die if we didn't do something a little defensively. So we had to play a little bit more defensive and use some of those team up abilities to heal each other. David gave me some rage.
Yeah, I was able to give him 1 rage because I figured if I spent the red card to just do another damage, that was nowhere near as worth giving you the 1 rage. He needed 1 rage to get to be able to summon.
Yeah, so
which did you summon?
I summoned my crow, which let me do damage and stun the boss
for a moment,
which was good, and do damage to everything around the boss, and then ran away. So it was okay. I mean, we were able to survive that round, but not much longer.
Not much longer at all. I don't know if it would have been better for us to have weeded out some of the other enemies, but they would have kept coming too. So
they keep spawning whenever you hit their card. Granted, you've got less cards, but as the monster gets enraged, he starts activating the other monsters as well as the boss gets enraged. So we definitely did not think through. Now, we were playing, I'll say we had some constraints. We were playing on TTS for one, but also we wanted to show you guys, like, we were like, let's make a beeline for that chest and open that chest. I think we opened up the 3rd chest maybe a bit earlier than we should have.
Yes. Hopefully you'll forgive our poor play because we did it for you to demonstrate as much of the game as we could. And hopefully you were able to gather everything you needed to know about how the game plays in this scenario. I think we did just about everything. There are a few things you didn't see. You didn't see the boss getting enraged and things like that. Yeah. But you saw pretty much everything mechanically how this works, at least in this scenario. I don't know if there will be other things introduced throughout the game.
Yeah, and hopefully you're able to see that there is, like we said at the very beginning of this video, a huge emphasis on teamwork, trying to actually talk through what you're going to do, which I think maybe we didn't do the best job. Again, we didn't want to spend 20 minutes discussing our next move when we're filming.
We did a little of that off camera, but we were trying to stick to just the actions that were taking place. But it is a very cooperative game. You want to talk about, okay, you do this, then I'll do this. Who should go first? I'll do this so we can do this synergy. Getting enough damage from, at least some damage from each player on the enemies is really the core concept. You need to do that to get up that synergy track, to get some of those advances. We didn't get as many as I would have liked to, at least like in the skill trees.
Again, if we had stopped and taken our time and wiped up some of those enemies and made a deliberate effort to get a little higher on the synergy track, instead of just like, all right, let's get all 3 chests open, which, I mean, it was fine, that's what we did. We opened the chests, we got the boss out there. I think we were a little arrogant. We thought we'd have a little easier time with him, but he's tough.
Yeah, so hopefully it helped. If not, I won't promise more content, but maybe we'll just do a stream or something like that where we show a completely raw playthrough. It won't be pretty.
No, but it'll be fun.
But you'll be able to see the whole thing. If you have any questions, though, about the game or the scenario that we played, please make them in the comments below. We'll get down there and answer whatever we possibly can. Until next time, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.